we should never forget that if Donald Trump becomes president again, it's gonna mean a lot. And I don't just mean that we can expect years more of tweets like this from Brigitte Gabriel, of two of our nation's greatest advocates for civil rights, MLK and DJT. And I just hate that so much. I just don't like that there's a technology that can easily produce stuff like that. No, that's not what I'm talking at all about though. I'm talking about his apparent plans to supercharge his direct unilateral control over the US government. There's a report that came out earlier this week talking with some of his allies. By the way, this is not speculation. This is not people digging through the documents. This is what they're talking about in speeches, Trump and other advocates and surrogates of his. So here are some of the components of it. Mr. Trump intends to bring independent agencies like the Federal Communications Commission, which makes and enforces rules for television and internet companies, and the Federal Trade Commission, which enforces various antitrust and other consumer protection rules against businesses, under direct presidential control. He also wants to revive the practice of impounding funds, so refusing to spend money that Congress has appropriated for programs a president doesn't like. So if there are components of Build Back Better or the climate bill that you like, he might just pretend that that doesn't exist. So that could be fun. He intends to strip employment protections from tens of thousands of career civil servants, making it easier to replace them if they're deemed obstacles to his agenda. So basically clearing out most of the expertise, experience, and institutional knowledge of the federal bureaucracy and replacing them from people from the crowd at Turning Point USA events or something, I suppose. He also, of course, wants to scour the intelligence agencies, the State Department, the defense bureaucracies to remove officials he has vilified as, quote, the sick political class that hates our country. All of this is under this unilateral theory of the executive. The idea that although it has never been adjudicated to be the case, and the Constitution is pretty clear that there are checks and balances between the three different branches of the government. No, in fact, somehow the executive branch is on its own and can't be constrained in any way whatsoever. It's the best and it should rule that way. And they intend to really try that out as a strategy if he becomes president again. Michael, what do you make of this?
Well, it's exactly what you're talking about, but it rises to another level. Anytime we've seen the only precedents that we have for government run this way by only people who agree with you, by getting like minds in there and also weeding out people who will not facilitate what your agenda is, who will do their job, but not facilitate your agenda, are fascist governments in the past, are occasionally communist governments that are unilateral in that way. And this kind of monolithic thinking is exactly what Trump said he wasn't gonna do last time and tried to do, and now he's doing it and saying he's gonna do it, or he's saying he's gonna do it. So at least there's an openness from Trump that we didn't previously have. So we have to embrace that. But what he's opening up to is frightening, unprecedented, only in that it has created fascism.
Yeah, 100%. And having lived through and worked through one whole term of Donald Trump, we know his worst excesses. We know the ways that he undercuts himself. But I am not looking forward to nearly another half decade of just like hoping he gets bored of governing and just goes and plays golf and doesn't destroy the republic.
And now he will have vengeance, which he didn't have before, right? So he would be coming in as a president who would have a list of people he would go after and wrongs, grievances that he would try and correct in his estimation. But again, what you just said is why I don't think he has a chance of winning. The difference now is that we have had 4 years of Donald Trump as president. So we know more than we knew then, and collectively we do. And also people who do pay attention to this know and regret what happened.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.